Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight. Headlines we have the head of state presides over the ninth meeting of the Council of the Ministers. For the international scene, football Copa America 2021 will finally take place in Brazil. Welcome to our newsroom. Under the chairmanship of His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic, Head of Government, the ninth session of the Council of Ministers took place on Tuesday, 1st June 2021. The following texts were examined and approved with the Ministry of Economy, Finance and Industry. The first issue, draft law on the ratification of the financing agreement for the integrated cash transfer and human capital strengthening project PISH. The first draft law aims at ratifying an additional financing agreement for an amount of 15 million US dollar to 2.66 billion Djibouti franc between the Republic of Djibouti and the World Bank. The objective of this additional financing is to expand cash transfer to 2,500 households in Djibouti City, and the total coverage of beneficiaries will be 7,500 households for the entire territory. This additional funding will also play a key role in supporting Djibouti's effort to mitigate growth impacts, reduce poverty, and protect the most vulnerable population in the capital and the regions. The project is aligned with Vision 2035 and the National Social Protection Strategy 2018-2022, whose program aims to improve the living conditions of poor and vulnerable households and enhance their resilience to economic shocks. This project is also aligned with the National Family Solidarity Program launched by the President of the Republic in January 2016, which is currently underway in the 5 and sub-prefectures of the interior regions. It will also test a new approach to community-led development to help empower community actors. Issue 2, draft law on the ratification of the financing agreement for the external entities of the Damerjog power plant and the extensions of the electricity transmission network. The purpose of the bill is to ratify the financing agreement for an amount of 9 million Kuwaiti dinar, corresponding to about 5 billion Djibouti franc, concluded on 13 March 2021. The financing will be used for the construction of a power generation plant in Damerjog in the first phase. The development objective of the project is to consolidate the local productions of electricity and the transmissions of electricity in our country. The project aims to increase energy productions to meet the growing demand for energy, which is increasing annually by 10%. The main components of the project are the constructions of the first phase of 50 megawatt power plant, the extensions of the transmission networks, and the supplies and installations of the new equipment. The project will be implemented by Electricity of Djibouti under the supervision of the Ministry of Energy, whose role will be to coordinate, supervise, and control the execution of the project. The Ministry of Labor in charges of formalization and social protection. Issue 3, draft decree on the appointment of Mr. Ahmed Mohamed Usman is appointing acting director of the Djibouti Industrial and Commercial Property Office. The second part of the Council of the Ministers report of Ministry of Higher Education and Research force questions draft order on the creations of the state diploma of social services assistant grade licence professionnelle. Fifth questions draft orders on the creations of the state diploma option higher technician of laboratory grade licence professionnelle. The Minister of Higher Education and Research presented to the Council of Ministers two draft texts. The first draft is about implementation of the state diploma of social work assistants, grad licence professional within the higher Institute of Health Sciences. The training frame of reference for the studies of social work assistant is set up in accordance with the national orientations to answer the societal stakes and is in line with the perspective of the opening on the social realities of the country. The overall training project based on the non-integrative alternating pedagogic aims to train competent professionals now who know how to act and interact with the relevance and competence in situations. This text sets the contents of the trainings and the modalities of deliveries of this diploma, as well as the durations of the courses, which is fixed at 3 years. The second draft aims at registering the training of the higher laboratory technicians in licence master doctorate system LMD. The objective of this universitarization of the training courses is on the one hand the reinforcement of scientific knowledge, which will favor a better adaptations to the fast evolutions that the profession knows, and on the other hand it will facilitate the career progressions and will allow those who wish them to engage in further studies. The adoption of this draft decrease is part of the universitarization of paramedical studies. It testifies to the government's will to train specialties in several fields capable of contributing to the development of our country's communication. The Minister of Foreign Affairs for International Cooperation government spokesman reported on the working visit of the Egyptian President, His Excellency Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, to Djibouti on 27 May 2021, which aimed at strengthening bilateral relations between the two countries in all areas, namely economic cooperation, education, health, higher education, housing, and tourism. The Minister of Communication in charge of Post Telecommunication gave a mission report on his participation in the bilateral meeting on the Darwan cable between Djibouti and Kenya, which was held from 19 to 23 May 2021 in Nairobi. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdille, and the Minister of Women and Families, Ms. Muna Usman Aden, presided over the closing ceremony of the National Midwives Week. The ceremony took place at the People's Palace in the presence of the Vice President of UNFT, Ms. Hasna Muhammad Bilil, and the UNFPA representative, Ms. Asha Ibrahim Jama. Under the team, the numbers speak for themselves. Invest in midwives. These two phases were hammered home through this closing ceremony of the National Week. Other highlights of the day included the speeches by officials who were highly applauded for their support and assurance of their availability to support the important role of midwives as pillar of society. For her part, the Minister of Women and Family, Muna Usman Aden, said that the noble professions of midwifery is a specific body to affect both the present and the future of our nation. In his speech, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Robli Abdille, pleaded for investment in neonatal and child care in order to reduce maternal and infant mortality. As part of his outreach tours, the Minister of Health visited the General Peltier Hospital, where he was warmly welcomed by the main officials of the hospital institution. Indeed, the Minister of Health began his guided tour by the admissions department, which is the access point to the various services of the hospital. Thus, the Minister of Health inquired about the functioning of the key entities of the hospital by visiting services such as pediatrics, the medical imaging service, ophthalmology, the cardiac catheterization, laboratory of or coronography, recalling that Peltier Hospital is a national reference at the top of the health pyramid, which remains the most important hospital structures of the country, employing more than 700 people of all categories. And awareness and information days for vocational training students at the end of the school curriculum and the job search process, co-organized by NFIP and the ETFP, the general directors of the ETFP meeting between NFIP staff and the students of the Terminal Bac Pro at the Industrial Commercial High School, known as LIC, on Monday 31 May, and at the Technical High School of Gabon, the Sectoral Training Center for Logistics and Transport on Tuesday, 1st June. The objectives of these days are first to introduce NFIP to students at the end of their schooling, final years at the Bac Pro, and final years of CAP. Then the president of the new platform djiboutiemployment.org, and finally to raise awareness among young people so of the advantage of registering to increase their chances and professional integration. As NFIP was represented by the Director of Employment, Mr. Abdel Hussein, who accompanied by his collaborators presented the different missions and activities of this agency, which is the interfaces between job seekers and employers in the public and private sector. He also explained it to the young learners how to register online on the platforms djiboutiemployment.org, created so that job seekers can consult the available positions so that suit their profile, and companies can communicate their needs in manpowers. The Djibouti Evaluation Association organized a day of meetings and exchanges between national and international evaluators this morning at Sheraton Hotel. The objective is to obtain quality data for some of the indicators of the Sustainable Development Goals in sectors such as infrastructure, education, and environment is in a challenge. Sharing experience between countries could help to develop innovative solutions to data constraints. The meeting was chaired by the president of the Djibouti Evaluation Association, Mr. Khaled Naguib, and the Secretary General of the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, Mohamed Abdallah Mahyoub, and so the participation of several national evaluators such as the director of INAP, Sharmak Idris Farah, the president of the Djibouti Evaluation Association, Khaled Naguib, thanked the participants and sponsors who made these 3 days of exchanges and meeting possible. For his part, the Secretary General of Menfop, Mohammed Abdallah Mahyoub, stated in his speech that the Minister of Education is conducting a coherent evaluation policy at national level alone or specialized organization with a specialized organization. The aim is to instill a culture of evaluation within the education system based on the research of performance. The management of the Djibouti Partial Credit Guarantee Fund, led by its Director General Awad Ahmed Al Mus'i, accompanied by the President of the Young Entrepreneurs Club, went to Dekhil for an information and consultation tower. Upon their arrival, they were welcomed at the prefecture by the prefect of the region, Aden Drar Musa, where they discussed the opportunities offered by the Guarantee Fund for young entrepreneurs in the Unity region. The delegation, led by the Director General of the Guarantee Fund, Awad Ahmed Al-Mut'i, then met with the young entrepreneurs of the Unity region in the presence of the prefect and his close collaborator. The objective of this meeting was to strengthen the climate of trust and proximity between the main financial actors and young entrepreneurs. As part of the implementation of ADIL program 2023 and with the support of Expertise France, the Ministry of Decentralization, the Ali Sabih Regional Council is organizing from 30 May to 1st June 2021 the drafting of the new regional development plan for the Ali Sabih region is for the next 5 year 2021-2025. The prefect of the region Musa Aden Migane, the president of the regional council Omar Ahmed Wais, the secretary general of the regional council, regional elected officials, decentralized services working in the region, and members of civil society, women, youth, and elders took part in this discussion forum. Indeed, this consultation space called Coordination Committee for Regional Development was animated during 2 consecutive days by an expert in local development and an executive of the Ministry Delegate of Decentralization. As part of the fight against illicit trade, Djibouti Customs yesterday says that nearly 50 carton batch of unstamped product intercepted by soldiers of the Rapid Intervention Battalion based in Ali Une. This large quantity of contraband was discovered and seized during recent sweeps in the illicit traffic in areas near the borders between the Republic of Djibouti and Somaliland. The contraband consisted of cigarettes, various types of tablets and cosmetics. The commanders of the Rapid Intervention Battalion, Colonel Mohammed Mahamoud Asowe, handed over this impressive quantity of illicit product to Mr. Yahya Musa Ige, head of the Customs Division of Artas region, in the presence of his colleagues Mr. Yabal Mirane Riala, the current head of the Customs Brigade in Luada. They wanted notice the Hassan Daher family is actively searching for Mr. Abdi Hassan Daher, alias known as Abdi Asad, aged 46, living in Balbala Bahash neighborhood, who has been missing for 3 months. He is mentally disturbed. He has been living in small villages for the past 2 years. He presents mental disorders. Anyone who recognizes these descriptions is asked to contact the Central Police Station number 21 35 27 61. For the international scene, football, the Copa America 2021 will finally take place in Brazil. The Copa America 2021, which was originally scheduled to take place in Colombia and Argentina, will finally be held in Brazil for Sunday 13 June to Saturday 10 July. The South American Football Confederation CONMEBOL announced on Monday the Copa America 2021, which was to be held in Colombia and Argentina, will finally be held in Brazil from 13 June to 10 July. The South American Football Confederation CONMEBOL announced it on Monday. The CONMEBOL Copa America will be played in Brazil. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.
Fini les queues dans les agences. Fini les week-ends sans Internet. Avec le nouveau concept du prépayé fixe et ADSL, vous pouvez, à tout moment et en quelques clics depuis chez vous, renouveler vos forfaits ADSL ou recharger votre ligne fixe avec votre monnaie électronique d'e-money ou votre crédit mobile Evatis. Rechargez vos gigas de téléchargement. Suivre votre consommation téléphonique et Internet. Rechargez le compte de vos proches à distance. Avec le nouveau concept prépayé fixe et ADSL, simple.